Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Here in Israel, the clock has changed. So what used to be um, 8 o'clock, now in Israel, is turned to be 7. It's turned to be 9 o'clock. It's turned to be 9 o'clock. So, which means that the class by you is starting 1 hour earlier. Okay, so if you've missed the class, you're just tuning in, it's never too late. You can always tune in later. Now let us you'll get used to it. So will I get used to it. I didn't sleep very much last night. Here we have charity. First of all, let's begin the day with charity. Give what you have to others. Look at other people with a kind eye and give charity. Here we go. Charity saves from bad. Charity saves even from death. And charity brings good. Charity will bring the best of all, geula. The redemption of the Jewish people depends on giving charity. Like it says. Now we're learning about the goal of the Jewish people. Goal of the Jewish people. So the goal of the Jewish people is like the goal of Adam. When man created Adam, it says he put Adam in this place called Gan Eden, which was basically heaven on earth, in order to work on it and improve it. And it says, and to conquer it, it says, to conquer the world. Man is here, Jews. Man is here to conquer the world. And ideal, what man is supposed to be Jews. How are Jews better than everybody else? What, everybody's going to eat bagels, or everybody's going to, what do have big noses or something, or be comedians, whatever Jews are supposed to be do, what the typical Jew is. What Jew is. No, there's one thing that all the Jewish people have in common. All the Jews have one thing in common, and this is the one common factor that makes them despised. Every Jew, doesn't make any difference. Smart Jews, stupid Jews, good Jews, bad Jews, young Jews, old Jews, religious Jews, non-religious Jews, Jews that know they're Jews, Jews that don't know they're Jews. They have one thing that makes them despised. And what is that one thing? That they're Jews. And what does it mean to be a Jew? What's so despicable about being a Jew? The Jews are representatives of God. And people don't like God. People don't like God. People don't like to be told what to do, especially if the Jews themselves don't do it. The Jews are here to tell, it's a message to everyone to do what God wants. And even if the Jews don't know it, but they're carrying around, like in high school, I remember, not in elementary school, sometimes they didn't like a kid, they would put the thing, hit me. They would stick it on his back, how you doing, buddy? They're sticking it, put the tape on. And he didn't know, why is everybody hitting it? He didn't even know. So there's the Jews, they don't know why everybody hates them. What's the deal? Why do they hate them? The world makes up all these different reasons, what they're doing to Palestine. What the Jews don't live in Palestine. I live in Chicago. I live in New York. I don't even know what's going on in Palestine. No, the Jews are hated because they are representatives of God. Is there such a thing as a person being a representative of God? Yes, Moses. And Moses was also despised by the Jewish people. It says that we'll learn soon that there was a person called Korach that turned all the Jews against Moses. But nevertheless, the Jews needed Moses. They needed him. They needed him in order to lead them to the desert. But the Jewish people said, listen, let's just leave the desert. Let's go back to Egypt. And we don't need this Moses anymore. And so also they hated King David, right? Why? Because Moses and King David and God want people to do things that are not according to human nature. And some are even against human nature. Human nature is being selfish. And Moses was the example of a person that not only himself was not selfish, but also he didn't want anybody else to be selfish either. Selfish means you don't think about anything except yourself. Huh? Only about yourself. And what's going to benefit you, that's what you think about. That's what I'm going to think about. And if nothing benefits you, then you feel all depressed and you get all angry and you get all, things don't go the way you want and you feel bad. So Moses is here essentially to wake up in the world. Why is God creating the world? And that everyone in the world will be an example of this. Everyone will act in this world exactly the way that God wants them to. And what does God want everyone to do, right? Don't be depressed. Don't be addicted. Don't be aggressive, in a bad way. Don't be destructive. Basically the seven Noahide commandments. Don't worship idols. Don't be licentious. Don't be, in other words, the world can get along very well without addictions and with depression and with aggression, with wars and things like that. The world can get along really very well. And then there'll be place for really nice things in the world, for happy, pleasant things, where people will care about each other and people will realize that the more you give, the more you get. So that's what, but people don't want to make that big change. And I don't blame them. I mean, I also don't want to make that big change, but you can force yourself to do what's right. And then eventually you start to realize it's good. Okay, so that's the job of Moses. So Moses took the Jewish people out of physical Egypt, but going out of spiritual Egypt means going out of your selfishness. Your own selfishness limits you and imprisons you in your own thoughts and your own feelings and your own misconception of what the world is about. Okay. And says the Rebbe, therefore, if you look in the book of Psalms, the book of Psalms was written by King David, but it was written with what's called Ruach HaKodesh. It's written with holy inspiration. So the words in Psalms are the words of God also. The words of the Psalm. And there's one Psalm which is dedicated purely to Moses. That's Psalm number 90. Tefillah LaMoshe Ish Elokim. That's what we've been talking about all these past days. A prayer to Moses, the man of God. So it starts off by saying an apparent repetition of, this is a prayer of Moses, the man of God. And so Moses, everybody knew he was a man of God, and the man of God is Moses. It says in the book of Deuteronomy, right near the end, what is it? Zota bracha asher berach Moshe ish Elokim. This is the blessing that God gave to Moses, the man of God. So there's only one person in the Torah that's called the man of God, and that's Moses. So why repeat it? So the Rebbe said that's talking about three levels. Man, Moses was a man. He was the man of God, that he was God's representative of the world. But Moses had something even deeper. He was, the word Moses, Moshe, means he was drawn out from the essence of God, essence of concealment. And then in the end, it says also the same thing. May our handiwork be permanent for us. May our handiwork be permanent. It says our handiwork will be permanent. Even the things we do in the world will be imbued with the permanence of the oneness of God. And that's all hinted at in the letter tzaddik. The word tzaddik means the word tzaddik is 90. And that's also the letter tzaddik. In Hebrew, there's no numbers, no numerical system. That's maybe developed afterwards, who knows what, but the numbers were letters. Letters. If you look in the Talmud, for instance, it doesn't have any numbers. The pages aren't numbered. Maybe afterwards they numbered it, but the pages originally were letters. Like for instance, page 90 in the Talmud, it has two sides to it. So it says tzaddik, Amud tzaddik, page tzaddik, side 1 and side 2, Amud Aleph, Amud Beit. Okay, so that's the letter tzaddik, and also it has a meaning. The word tzadi has a meaning. The word tzadi means my side, and tzaddik, it means that it comes into the letter kuf, which comes down. The letter kuf is below the line. See, it comes down. It comes down into the physical world. Okay. We did this. I think we did this. Then we did. Yeah, we did this yesterday. One second. Is this we did it? Okay, maybe not. No, we didn't do it. Okay. Now we got. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, I see. Okay, I just scrolled down a little bit too much. This is so now we can understand why the that Moses, the whole essence of Moses was hinted at the Psalm number 90, which is tzaddik, because the tzaddik, the kuf, it comes down below. It says, Yadu, it's known that Bahei Nivra Olam Hazeh. The God created this world with a letter Hey. It's a sentence from Isaiah. It's a sentence in Isaiah. We say it every day in Uvol Etzion. It says, Ki Yud Ke Hashem, that in the letters Yud and the letter Hey, God created the world. Sheyesh lo shlosh kavim, that says that the spiritual worlds were created by the letter Yud, and the physical worlds were created by the letter Hey. This is a little bit strange, but the fact is that God created the world through His letters, right? Look at the book of Genesis. It starts off in the beginning, God created the world, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So He's just speaking. The letters were units of creative energy that created the world. So in other places, it says in a general way that God created the world, and the spiritual concealed worlds from the letter Yud, and the revealed worlds from the letter Hey. So it says the letter Hey, the world was created. The world was created by the letter Hey. It says, what do you mean the letter Hey? We just said it was created from all the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. But the letter Hey stands for the number 5. That's the 5 organs of speech. In order to speak properly, you have to have 5 organs in your mouth, 5 whatever aspects of your mouth. There's some letters which only come from the letter from your tongue. Some letters only come from your throat. That's 2. Some letters only come from the teeth. Some letters come from the lips, and some letters come from the palate, which are what? Resh, right? Resh, I think. Ka, that's right. Ka, is that right? Anyway, some letters only come from the palate. It's explained. There's a book called Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Formation, and it talks about how God used the 22 letters of the alphabet to create the world. Okay. So it says that that's the Hey that represents these 5 organs of speech. The world was created with the letter Hey. That the letter Hey has 3 lines to it. This corresponds to the 3 aspects of the world. The world, not just the physical world, also the spiritual worlds. The first of the spiritual, so to speak, worlds is Bria. Bria means creation. That's a spiritual dimension where there is only creation. There's no form yet. There's no substance. Below that is a lower dimension, which is the world of Yetzirah. That's the world where there is the world of angels, where there is form, but there's no substance. And Asiya, that's the world where there's already substance. That's oversimplified, but that's what it is. Also, the 3 aspects of machshava, thought, speech, and action. The roof of the letter Hey, the roof of the letter Hey, see like this, like this, top, and the regula yamini, and the right side. Let's see if we have the letter Hey. Here, see there's the letter Hey, see? So you have the top of the letter A, and you have this side. That hints at they're joined together. That corresponds to thought and speech. And the third foot of the letter Hey, which is separated, that corresponds to action. That's this physical world. And it says, Af Asitiv. It says this world, it says, Barativ Yatzartiv, Af Asitiv. I also made it. It's also a sentence in Isaiah, right? Isaiah, chapter 43. The letter Av separates. So God made the spiritual and the physical worlds, but He made it that the spiritual worlds are separated. What's this got to do with us? Since that the world was created complete. When God created the world, he created the world complete. We talked about this a lot of times. Complete. It's like buying a puzzle in the store, a puzzle which has like 1,000,000 pieces in it, right? And you come home and you open it up and it's got 100,000,000 pieces in it, right? So what's going on? So the instructions say 99 million of these pieces are unnecessary. You can you can throw them away. The other million have to put together, but the whole puzzle is here. So God, the whole world is complete. We just have to work on it. We have to work on the world. So since the world was created complete, moving, so it's understood that even though that this physical world was created with that even though that all of the world even though that the whole creation was created with the letter Hey, Sheyeshnu Hefsek, and there is a separation between the spiritual worlds and the physical world. The physical world is the world of Asiya. That means that the spiritual worlds are concealed from us. How much more so the creator of the spiritual worlds are concealed from us. But this physical world conceals God. What does it mean it conceals God? The reality of this world seems to be the only reality. From this world, you cannot get any hints that there are spiritual worlds, and for sure you can't get a hint that there's God. So this world conceals over God, right? And the job of the Jewish people is to reveal God. Oh, so now we have the letter Tzaddik is going to fix this up. We'll see how. Nevertheless, Harizeh al Milu, the world is nevertheless created complete in a way like God wanted it exactly the way that he wanted, but it's from the name of Elohim. Sheyesh no olam, that there is a world which conceals over God. That's what God wanted. Avodah, and our service is from the word. How do you fix up the world? From the letter tzaddik. Why? Namely, to choose to be on the side. Tzadi means on my side. To be on the side of Torah and the commandments. God put Torah and the commandments in the world. At Mount Sinai, God revealed the Creator in the creation. That through Torah and the commandments, the Jews doing Torah and the commandments will be Shiat Tzad. That will be the side, God's side will be the side of the Jewish people, like we said before. And after that, then we have the work of the tzaddik, of the kuf, letter tzaddik, tzaddik. Sometimes this letter tzadi is called tzadi, and sometimes it's called tzaddik. So tzadi means on my side, that the whole world should be on my side. We should be on God's side, the whole world. And then there's the letter of kuf. What's kuf? That not only are the Jews on God's side, but the whole world becomes on God's side. There's the letter kuf that comes down below, see, below the line. That the world, which has become totally confused by means of the sin of Adam, Shemeot Hey, that from the letter Hey, we come and make the letter Kuf. What's the letter Kuf? That by means of the sin that Adam did, as the and the Jewish people also did afterwards with the golden calf, is from the letter Hey became the letter Kuf. That the left side went down below the line, below from the place where it was supposed to be, lower than the way God created it. The world was bad enough as it was, and man, by means of eating the tree, and the Jewish people by using the worship of the golden calf, as they gave more power to the wrong side than it deserves. So therefore, the world is now messed up. The Jewish people did it. So when everybody says that the Jews are the cause of the problems of the world, they've got a good point. But they're not, because they rule the whatever is it, the media or the banks or whatever. They got all the power. Because they have the Torah and they have to use it. A kavanah, the intention is Asher Bor Elokim Lasot. The world was made in order to fix it up. We're supposed to be shuta partners with God in creating the world, and to fix up the world, even this place. Kafisha Paul Moshe, like Moses did. Like we said before, that Moses came and he fixed up the whole world, that the world was a good, perfect place. People were healthy. Shazeu Tochen, that's the whole idea of what a tzaddik is supposed to do. Namely, that he fixes up the kuf, that he takes from his side Torah and mitzvahs, that's the side of God and also the side of the Jews, and he brings it down also into the letter Kuf to fix it up below the line, so that becomes, the world itself becomes healed and functional, and people start to value life, and they stop being so selfish. Alpi Kolanal, according to this, we can understand why is it that Moses used the Redeemer of the Jewish people, and why we're waiting for Mashiach. Why one person is going to come and fix the whole world up, the Gulat Mitzrayim. Why Moses took the Jews out of Egypt. That's the birth of the Jewish people. The job of the Jewish people is to follow Moshe. Leave Egypt. Don't stay in Egypt. Don't go back to Egypt. So Moses took the Jews out of Egypt, but the desire of the Jews to go back to Egypt and to have this sort of what they call security, false security in Egypt, they didn't have any worries. They did what they were told. They built bricks and whatever that, and they were okay. They got fed. So they got beaten once in a while, but it's better than being alone in the middle of the desert, right? With nothing to eat, right? Just the howling wind with sands and all sorts of scorpions and stuff like that. Who wants that? At least you're in Egypt. You get something to eat. You're valuable. They need you to build a sphinx or something. You go out in the desert. You don't even know what am I supposed to do here? You're free, right? God set you free. So the Jewish people wanted, the mindset was an Egyptian mindset. What's the Egyptian mindset? It's being selfish, thinking about yourself. And when they got out of Egypt, since they got out of Egypt till this very day, we're working to go out of our selfish outlook of the world. And that's what Moses does. Goel Rishon, he was the first redeemer, and he'll be the last redeemer. Even since we have not yet completely gone out of Egypt. Since that's this prayer of the prayer of Moses, the man of God, Yesh B'Kocho has the power to draw down redemption, revealing the power which is unlimited into the world. The goal to redeem, first of all, the Jewish people from all of the self-imposed exiles and the world-imposed exiles, until the Klippa, until even the forces of evil and idolatry of Egypt. Remember, Moses came from idolatry. He was pulled out of the river. The river was the idolatry of Egypt. That even the idolatry of Egypt will be changed with also the true redemption. Like it says, the days of going out of Egypt, I will show you miracles. Lo rak, not only miracles which are in nature, but also miracles which are totally above nature. Ad niflot, something amazing, right? That we never had before. There was God was revealed on Mount Sinai. The Jewish people said, we can't take it. Moses, you take it. And Moses said, listen, I already got enough godliness, I want to bring it to you. And the Jewish people said, yeah, we know Moses, but listen, we're not, we can't take it. It's just too much. What he said, this should be a redemption, that there's not any redemption, exile after it, in a way that the entire world will be a dwelling for God, a dwelling, a permanent place for God to live forever. I mean, maybe I can just give you a little bit of example. Normal people, I know I've given this example 100 times, but I'll give it. Normal people don't cut their fingers off. They just don't do it. You can do it, no problem, right? You can go to any hardware store and you can buy, God forbid, you can buy a knife and just, you can buy a cutting board and cut your finger off, no problem, right? But normal people don't do it. Normal people don't, that's an insane thing to do. But there are people that are sick that do harm themselves. And let's say they don't, it's such blatant, they don't like blood, but they take drugs and they get with the crime and they do things which basically is just like cutting part of yourself off. You become insensitive to other people. A person cuts off his finger, he can't feel things with his finger, right? Same thing as you become addicted, you become something with it. You think about yourself all the time, you become cut off from humanity. Don't feel other people. Don't feel others. So the whole idea of Mashiach is just about to make everybody healthy. That's what Moses did. Moses came to the Jewish people and said, hey, you guys, you're the Jewish people. You're supposed to be fixing up the whole world. And everybody said, listen, Moses, just do me a favor. Leave me alone. I got to pick this. I got to go and collect some more straw. Hey, maybe you can help me get some more straw. Moses said, listen, your job in life, your purpose in life is not to collect straw and to survive. That's not, the Jewish people's job is not to survive. The job of the Jewish people is supposed to be to educate the whole world, not to cut themselves off from reality. Be normal, be sensitive, deal with reality. Let God surprise you, right? Let God surprise you. A person, God forbid, he cuts off his fingers, God forbid. So there's one big benefit out of it. He's no responsibility. Do me a favor, could you pick that thing up? I can't. My hand. See my hands like this. I can't. Right? I mean, can you do it? Can you write something? Can you type for me? My hands. Look at my. I can't do it. Right? So that's a big benefit you got from people like hypochondriacs. I'm sick. I can't do it. I can't move. I'm sick. I'm miserable. I'm always miserable. I like being miserable. Right? A person like that, he's exempt from all responsibility. But that's the essence of human beings, is responsibility. The essence of human beings is to meet the challenges of the world the way that God wants you to, and to fix the world up. And that's what Moses wants us to do, that we should be on the side of God. And what's the way we should fix up the world? That's what the Torah is, the 7 Noahide commandments. The non-Jews. But then now we can also understand the big goal, the big miracle that was on Shabbat HaGadol. It says this coming Shabbat is the Shabbat right before Passover. It's called the Big Shabbat. Shabbat HaGadol. And the first Rebbe of Chabad, and he's wrote a book called the Shulchan Aruch. And his Shulchan Aruch, as he explains that there was a big miracle. What was the big miracle? That the firstborn Egyptians, the pride of Egypt, made a war against Paro. They made a war against Paro. It seems that they lost, but they made a war against Paro. What was the war? That the Jews told them the reason we're taking a sheep into our house is that in another 4 days, all the Jews had to take a sheep or a goat into their house 4 days before they left Egypt. Why? Because the day they left Egypt, they were going to slaughter it and eat it. Well, the goat or the sheep was the god of Egypt, and the Egyptians were very angry. What are you doing with our God? And they said, oh, we're going to slaughter it and we're going to eat it. And then God's going to kill all the firstborn. And the people, there was a lot of firstborn. They said, could you repeat that again? Said, we're going to take the goat and we're going to eat it. No, the end part, the part about the firstborn. Oh yeah, God's going to kill all the firstborn. But the main thing is we're going to take this. It's 1 second, 1 minute. You're going to kill, God's going to kill all the firstborn. Yeah, I mean, he did all the other 9 plagues. There's plague of darkness. You don't have to tell us, we know. I'm a firstborn. Is there any way I can get out of it? Talk to God. I'm sorry, I don't know. Oh, there's another way. Talk to Paro. Tell Paro to let everyone go. Moses said you went to Paro already 9 times. So let the Jews go so they can serve me. They can serve God. Shlachet ami v'yavduni. And Paro won't let us go. Said, we got it. We got it. We know what to do. Every man go home, get your swords, get your spears, get your whatever's arrows. Go to Paro. We have a request. Let the Jews go. We're not getting any benefit from them. If you don't, then the firstborn are going to be killed. And Paro said, listen, I'm also a firstborn. I'm not worried. You're not worried because you're a nut. You're insane. We are worried. There's already been 9 plagues. Let the Jews go. Paro said, no way, right? Don't call me, I'll call you. And they made a war. They made a war against Paro. That's the big miracle. What's the big miracle? That the firstborn, that the firstborn of Egypt fought for the Jews. Because of this miracle, that the firstborn of Egypt, they smote the Egyptians, they smote the Egyptians' army. That that's the firstborn, that's the pride and the diadem of Egyptian power. The power of Egypt was idolatry. They got their power from, it was a supernatural power that they had. That was called idolatry. Power of selfishness, the source of selfishness. Super selfishness. Right? That's the firstborn of Egypt. That they were the pride and the power of Egypt. they made war against the army, against Paro. Eretz Malaya Gilulim, that was a land which was filled with idolatry. Habirur, the Kuf, that's what's talking about fixing up the letter Kuf. It was supposed to be Hey, God created with a Hey, but it came down too low, the below normal. This was brought by the highest revelation of God that could possibly be, higher than all the miracles that happened to the Jewish people themselves. The Jewish people had all sorts of miracles, but the miracle that happened in Egypt, that the firstborn themselves decided to fight together with the Jews. This was bigger than miracles than any that God did. What's the whole point of Judaism? That the whole world should decide on its own. Not that they should be forced to serve God. That doesn't work. That the whole world should, from their own free will, decide that they want to do what their creator wants them to do, the 7 Noahide commandments. The first time this ever happened, that the physical world, the people, human beings in the world, chose from their own free will to help the Jews, to be on the side of the Jews. That was when the Egyptians, the firstborn Egyptians, smote Paro. This is revealed even more, the power, the eternal power of the infinite power of God, which reaches this place, even to the lowest place. And therefore, this is called a big miracle. Why? This is what made the beginning of the redemption of Egypt, of going out, and all the miracles of going out of Egypt. And this was also set on Shabbat. Why? Even though the Jews didn't necessarily go out on Shabbat, they didn't go. This miracle did not happen on Shabbat. It says, since Sheshabbat Kashura, this is the future redemption, the day which is going to be totally Shabbat and rest forever. We won't have to work in the world to fix the bad up in the world anymore. We'll just have to add more good. And that's the whole thing of Shabbat. It says everything on Shabbat is double. That the double, kafah kefel, double, this is connected to the idea of redemption. It says that there's in the Hebrew alphabet, there's 5 double letters. There's the letter chaf and the letter pei. They're double. That's also in the end. The letters, if they're in the middle of the word and the end of the word, they're double. They're a different shape. So it says there's 5 different sentences which these double letters are used to talk about the future redemption. Because everything in the redemption is going to be doubled. Therefore, Shabbat, and then in it we read about this big miracle that Egypt was smitten. That Egypt was that Egypt was smitten by its own firstborn. This is to transform the whole entire Shabbat. The whole entire Shabbat is the big Shabbat. That power was given to the non-Jews. Oh, wow, it's a little bit longer than I thought. The non-Jews to fight for the truth, to fight for the Creator. That was the big miracle. Yes. And also to add on that the fact that this Shabbat comes out on Parshat Tzav, this Tzav only means, and that's the name of this week's Torah portion. Tzav means command the Jewish people. The word command in this case means to speed them up, to encourage them now and forever. Shemadgish, this also stresses the whole idea of the revelation of the infinity of God below. The power that God is commanding Moses, Tzav et Aaron, command Aaron. And by means of Aaron, this reaches to every single Jew. Since that Aaron is the one that loved peace and pursued peace and loved the creations, Aaron has the commandment and Aaron has the power, which is unlimited, of God, whether now or rather immediately or for all the generations. Immediately means that there's nothing that can stop the commandment of God coming into the world. Nothing can stop us from fixing the world up. Cave and sins. Shumalubash, it is that the Aaron and consequently the Jewish people are clothed in this totally. Ad Shazel, this is his whole life. Chadur toch tocho. And for also the generations, This is all drawn out. This is drawn out in the same way of being alacritous and how do you say, enthusiastic. Also in the future generations, all generations, that the only interest is to make the world good according to the way that God wants it. Harry, this is made something which is eternal for all generations, that all generations want to do what God wants, even the non-Jews. And that's what the end of the Psalm says, Psalm 90, that all of our handiwork will be permanent. That's what we said before, is especially, that's why this week's Torah portion, Tzav, means to be quick. This is all when you're found in the month of Nisan. And this year says is the month where there were Niflaot Ereno. We will see miracles. Tafshin Nun Aleph. Now our year is not Tafshin Nun Aleph. Our year is Tafshin Pei Vav. So it's basically saying the same thing. Tafshin Pei Vav is this will be a year of Niflaot. Instead of Niflaot, to say Plaot. This will be a year of miracles. Erenu, we can say, is Ve'od, and more. You can make up whatever you want to, but it means that this year has to be the year when Mashiach is revealed. There were a lot of big tzaddikim that said that, first of all, in the Torah, in the Talmud, it says that in Nisan, the Jewish people were redeemed back then 3,300 years ago. And in Nisan, they will be redeemed, which is this month. And there are some big tzaddikim that said in the past, just recently, that they're not alive yet now, but they said that there's gonna be a big miracle that's gonna start on Purim and end on Passover, 1 month, this month. So we have a few more days for this thing. And everyone says that the war in Iran is going to take years and eternity, that people are never going to give up. That's if you look at it normally. But if you look at it from God's point of view, the thing can change in one instant. In one instant, it can change. And basically, all it has to be is the leaders of Iran just say, okay, that's it. Give us amnesty. Don't kill us. Let us do our religion. We won't kill anyone. We'll let you go into all of our bomb sites and everything like that. And we don't want to be murderous anymore. We're not going to be murderous anymore. We'll be like Dubai, all these other places where everybody gets along with everybody, right? It can end in 1 second. All it just has to come into their mind. Paro has to just let everybody go. That's all. Right? In the whole story of Egypt, if Moses would have gone into Paro the first time and said, Paro, let my people go, and Paro would have said, okay, you can go. What? You're not going to say no? Nah, not going to say no. I'm going to let you go. That's it. No more. The Jewish people would have gone out, and they would have, and we would have read what it says in the Torah, what God wanted to do to the Egyptians. He wanted to bring 10 plagues. He wanted to do these things and smite them and knock them out, and we would steal all their money and everything. But he didn't do it because Paro let them all go. Huh? But it didn't work out that way. Didn't work out that way. Well, now it will work out that way. And Paro will say, right, okay, that's enough. That's enough. I realize that the God of Israel is ruling the world, and he only wants for our benefit. We're dropping all these things of, Allah Akbar does not mean let's go and blow ourselves up anymore. It means God is great. He's Kabir. He's the greatest of all. And he wants us to do what the Jews tell us, what the Torah tells us. And this is all especially in the month of Nisan, that this year is a year of miracles. And it will bring to this that, yes, miracles, especially you can see the miracles that happened in this year. This was the year when the Iron Curtain fell and Saddam Hussein shot all these 39 missiles at Israel, and they blew up huge buildings and everything, and no one was hurt. No one was even hurt, right? Huge, the missiles that he shot weren't as powerful as the missiles that are being shot now by Iran. They were maybe like 1/20th or something like that, even less than the missiles. But nevertheless, they did knock down huge buildings. They all fell down, and no one was hurt. Certainly, God will show us big miracles until the main miracle that will be the future total redemption. That the world, that all of the worlds, and in every place in the world, it says the king of Persia and the king of Aram, That's now what's going on right now. Persia is fighting against Aram, is fighting against America, is fighting against. These are the signs that immediately the redemption is going to come by means of the Mashiach. Like it says in Yalkut Shimoni, it says that Banai, God will say, my children, don't be afraid. The time of your redemption has arrived. And the Melech HaMashiach is standing on the roof, on the top of the Holy Temple. And the Rebbe said 770 is the Holy Temple outside of Israel. It's a Gemara in Megillah, in the Talmud Megillah, that the Mashiach is going to stand on the roof of the Holy Temple, and he will announce to the Jewish people and say, humble ones, your time as redemption has come. From all this, we can see that what are we supposed to do? That we now are, oh, here we go. Now we can see what are we supposed to do? Because we are now standing at, we are now standing and seeing big miracles. And I mean, up to now, the Iranians have shot into Israel something like 300, I think even more now. Every day there's like five, 5 sirens, and people run to the air raid shelters, and they're shooting these missiles now where they break up into like 20 smaller missiles. And each one of the smaller missiles, each one has like the power, it did it in Arad, to wreck like a whole city block. And almost nothing is happening. Right? There are people that are being injured, but almost no one is being killed. Listen, even one person being killed is too much. But I mean, a whole city block. So every one missile, let's say they shot 300 missiles, so each one can be divided into 20, right? So that means what, 6,000 missiles they shot? And almost nothing has happened. So we're seeing miracles, but that's not the miracles that we're waiting for. Back then, when the Rebbe was talking, that when the Iron Curtain fell, no one would dream of a thing like that. The Iron Curtain would fall. Anyways, says the Rebbe, now we see these big miracles in the month of Nisan. And now we are in the week when Passover is happening, next week. This amount of freedom. And the time when we are promised we will see even bigger miracles which are revealed to the fleshy eye, that everyone will admit they're miracles. Even the Israelis will admit that they're miracles. The Israeli press doesn't talk anything about miracles. What are you talking about? They say it's a big mistake. The Israeli press, half of the Knesset, a little bit less, thank God, of the Knesset says, what do we have making these wars for? Just give in to them. Give in to them. We have to give in more land, give them more, and they'll be peace with us. Really? That's what the Israeli miracles. What are you talking about? Miracles? Who's doing miracles? There's no God. Who is God? It's nature. It just happens to be luck. Luck. Even Bibi Netanyahu said the other day, it's big luck, right? Oh, a lucky luck. He's like the best of them. He said this should arouse by every single Jew a tremendous will and a desire that our service should also be above nature. In fact, there should be miracles of miracles. It's not enough that you just change your situation and your outlook on the world now, and your actions and how much Torah you learn and doing the commandments, and do it a little bit better. But it has to be in a way of infinitely better. Go from level to level until you reach the level of the big miracle, the true miracle, which will be praising, the whole world will praise the Creator. And we have the power to do from the Psalm number 90, which is a prayer from Moses, Ish Elohim. The Rebbe was saying this when he was going into his 90th year. So he was saying the Psalm 90. It says, may the pleasantness of God be upon us, and our handiwork, whatever we do with our hands, should be permanent, and whatever we do should be permanent. That the Shekhinah, God's presence, should be in everything that we do. And Moses gave the power to every single Jew, and especially by means of the Moses which is inside of every Jew, that should be revealed this level of tzaddik, which is inside of every Jew. Like all the Jews are called tzaddikim, amech, kulam tzaddikim. So the Jewish people are all called tzaddikim. Amech kulam tzaddikim. We say that every day. This is a sentence in Isaiah. All the Jewish people are called tzaddikim. Kafi, according to how it is that Hashem is also called a tzaddik, and by means of this will be made complete the work of the tzaddi, then that the whole world will be totally on the side of God, on the side of Torah, on the side of the commandments from their own free will, like the firstborn did. That there's no place to even think that there's anything other than the creator of the universe. I mean, the creator of the universe is creating the whole universe. There is nothing else. Whether regarding ourselves, whether regarding how we affect other Jews, to spread out Torah, spread out Judaism, spread out the teachings of Chassidut, also to spread out to even the non-Jews the 7 Noahide commandments. And in this we can come to utilize another thing which is happening now, the Hashgacha Pratis, and these days there's a we have decided that the number 90 Mibeit HaNivcharim of Medina Zoo, that they have the power and the laws of the country you're in they should be obeyed if they go according to the Torah. That they made an official announcement that the 11th day of Nisan, that's the birthday of the Rebbe, should be the day, education day. I don't know if still they have this in America, but I think they still do. They declared, this was, I think President Bush did this, he declared that the 11th day of Nisan, which is the Rebbe's birthday, whatever day that falls out in the American calendar, that whenever the 11th day of Nisan falls in the Jewish calendar and the non-Jewish calendar, that day should be called Education Day, because they realize that the whole thing of Chabad is just education, and this should be in a way of tzaddik, that it should reach the kuf down to the lowest levels, and it should be a special that we and also this should tell us, we're talking about all these lofty things, wonderful things, spreading to the whole world. But meanwhile, in our midst, there are Jews that don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the funds in order to buy the necessities of Passover. So we should do everything we can to provide all of the necessities of Passover, matzah, 4 cups, etc., for everyone around us that needs it. And we should also, another thing, in the places where we make a public seders, that there should be many places where they make preparations to do as much as possible right, places where they make one big public Passover Seder. You should try, if you can, to make more than one. Make at least 2. And why? And then you can divide the expenses for the 2 nights. Outside of Israel is 2 nights. And certainly you won't care, since God certainly will bless everything that you do. So therefore, the more and more people will be able to come to your public, open, free Passover Seder. Chabad makes it all over the world. They make, and if you can make 2, it's good. If you can make 5, it's even better. My grandson just went to Colombia to help the Chabad house over there. But there's like 100, 200, 500. What, I don't know how they got to Colombia, but Israelis are spread out over the whole world. They're just leaving Israel in droves, right? And Chabad makes loyal Seder nights and other things over there, and it brings them back to their senses. May it be God's will that already should be fulfilled. The prayer of Moses and every single Jew, the prayer of Moses, the man of God, that it should be the pleasantness of God, the blessing of God should be on us, and that the Shekhinah should be in everything that we do, in our actions, in our service for the all the thousands of years we've been in exile, that immediately should end with the third temple. The third temple will be permanent.